everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tidbits by MRANTI. So this is where we educate, inspire, showcase, connect, and share stories and insights from various industries across Malaysia's tech and innovation scene. So how this works is each episode we will feature a conversation with our researcher, entrepreneurs, innovators who are part of MRANTI's ecosystem to discuss their work in a particular field. All right, so today I believe we have with us Safuan Zairi, none other than Safuan Zairi here. He's the Chief Ecosystem Development Officer here in MRANTI. And the next person we have is Ting from KOMMU, who is our ecosystem player in the AV field. All right, so without further ado, I think I'll pass the floor on to perhaps we can have Ting first to introduce himself and what exactly KOMMU is in the AV field.
Okay, thank you for having me, first of all. It's very honored. So, my name is Ting, and I'm the, technical co-founder of KOMMU lah. So, you guys know us for, autonomous vehicle, but we wouldn't say we do autonomous vehicle yet, because right now we are doing plug and play level 2 autonomous self-driving kit. So what does that mean is that we are trying to promote the use of assistance system that you can just plug on the windshield of your vehicle. Right now we are trying to support many cars, like your cars, your Perodor Myvi, your Perodor Ativa, X50, you can just get our system, plug it in, and then you get lane keep assist, and then also adaptive cruise control. So what we are trying to solve here is that we are trying to solve, Malaysians' chronic traffic jam problem, and then also long distance drive. A lot of people do sales, they go drive long distances. They just want to, feel relaxed and feel safe while they're on the road.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so I think I do want you to dive a bit deeper on that later, but I do want to pass on the floor to Safuan. Okay, Safuan, I don't think he needs to introduce himself, but Safuan, go ahead, introduce yourself to those who may not know who the famous Safuan is.
Oh gosh. Hi guys, first of all, thank you Muna, and also nice meeting you Ting. To all our fellow listeners, audience, wishing you guys Selamat Hari Raya, and hope you guys drive back safely, So, as Muna has mentioned, my name is Safuan. Currently, I am the Chief Ecosystem Development Officer for MRANTI. Yes, it's kind of long, so we shorten it to EcoDev. The role of ecosystem development is it's the program part of MRANTI, So for those of you familiar with MRANTI, you'll know that MRANTI has a MRANTI Park, which is in Bukit Jalil, close to 686 acres of land. And we have the infra and the building, but ecosystem development is about building the programs and also building the ecosystem. This is how we actually help accelerate the technology, There are certain focus areas. We are focusing on drones, on health, and of course our topic for today, related to autonomous vehicle. We're also looking into flexible manufacturing. The whole of MRANTI Park is actually 5G ready, So there's a lot of things. And prior to this, we were at Magic. We were predominantly focused on the program side, the capability development. But as I was just sharing with Ting earlier on, now that we are in MRANTI Park, we have access to the roads, we have access to the infra. 12 kilometers of road. Thank you for bringing that up. So I can talk about that later. And also we have a lot more rooms to play, and we certainly would like to invite great companies like KOMMU to come here and do their testing, do the R&D, do their rapid prototyping. At the same time, meet up with our team and explore and do more.
Yep. Okay, so now we know a bit about Ting, we know a bit about Safuan. I forgot to introduce myself. Okay, so I'm Muna Ursulina.
Muna needs no introduction. Muna, look her up in social media.
It's just Muna.
Muna.
So, like Safuan said, I am the social media girl here at MRANTI. So, but a bit about myself. I actually started my journey off with previously Magic, as Safuan knows. So, I was part of the accelerator team back then. I was a part of about 3 cohorts of Magic's GAP program. then shifted over to NTIS. So if you guys don't know, that is the Sandbox program, which was previously spearheaded by Magic and a few other secretary members. So from the Sandbox, I am coming over here. I was a part of the International Innovation Hub team, which brings us to today's topic, because I actually met Ting for the first time during our AV Power Breakfast. What is it?
I have to vouch, she is everywhere.
Yes, I am everywhere at the right time. Yeah, so I think I first met Ting at our AV Power Breakfast, which was dedicated for living labs, like one particular living labs that we have here. One of many that Safuan mentioned just now. All right, so that brings us to our topic today, which is basically test beds, or here we call it our living labs. So, of course, the purpose of having these test beds and the living labs is, of course, for regulatory intervention, for prototyping, for testing, accelerating the process or the journey for our tech companies. So maybe, Safuan, like you can speak a bit about what exactly is Testbeds, or what does it mean for us at MRANTI? I think like before we started this session, we were talking to Ting about what we have here or what our plans are, and he was like, oh, like
Wow,
interesting.
that's a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yes.
so he didn't really know. So I think for the man behind basically the living labs of MRANTI, perhaps you can share a bit on what it is, what it means in MRANTI, and what it means for the ecosystem players.
Thanks, Muna. So let me also share in terms of the role of MRANTI, so that our audience and also can remind myself as well in terms of what my day-to-day job entails. So we help accelerate technology commercialization. I'm quite sure Ting or Kenway in terms of, or KOMMU itself, is not developing their software
Correct.
for the sake of just developing something as a hobby, right?
Yes, correct.
The intention is to commercialize, to get people to adopt your product.
Correct.
If let's say you're profit driven, you want it to commercialize. But if let's say you want to make sure that society gets the best, or you want to help society, then you probably want to make sure that your product or your solution is being adopted.
Correct.
Yeah? But there is the end, and the point in terms of getting to that point of commercialization is not necessarily easy. Yeah, especially when you talk about highly regulated product and services, solutions. And this is where MRANTI, in our role as technology commercialization accelerator, we try and understand. To be honest, there's a lot of things that we don't understand. There's a lot of new technologies coming into the market, and the kind of speed they're coming in is quite tough for my team and myself as well to really comprehend. Yeah, but that's part of the job. We need to understand what kind of technology, what kind of product, what kind of solution that the world is looking at. Again, I purposely mentioned the world because MRANTI is about global. It's not just about your MyV. Yeah, there are equivalent MyVs in other parts of the world as well, which I see the solution that KOMMU is now producing, although at level 2, yeah, it can actually help benefit society, and you can actually commercialize in those markets as well.
Correct.
Because some of the things I may not look at from a commercialization perspective, but just safety in terms of driving. We just finished Raya.
Yeah.
For those of you who are staying in or having their kampong in Kelantan, we're probably looking at an average of between an 12 hour kind of journey, right?
Yeah.
And some of them, can't afford to take breaks.
Right.
And you do get tired because we are human, right?
Correct.
And not all of us are driving fancy, expensive cars with a built-in sort of like guiding system. So you need to have, having even a level 2 that knows that suddenly you're dozing off and your car starts veering off to a different lane, and it sort of gives you a sort of like a reminder. I think that alone can help cut a lot of road accidents and improve lives and safety. So, bringing back into context in terms of the test lab, nobody would want to buy what Ting is selling if it's not tested.
Correct.
Yeah, if it's not
the truth.
approved. Yeah. So especially things which are highly technical and it involves safety of others.
Yeah.
So we need to have a place where it is a safe place for us to test. And this is all, you mentioned the terminology NTIS, National Technology Innovation Sandbox, that is itself creating a safe environment for innovators to test their product. And now that we are at MRANTI, we brought over the sandbox. We are just like, 1,000 times, larger. And we want to make sure that in other areas, in the areas of drone technology, for example, in the area of health, it's the same thing as well. You would not want to use a device which or fly a drone if it's going to may potentially be involved in an accident or
true.
cause harm to others. Right? Similarly as well, AV. So we need to provide that kind of facility, and that's what we're doing here over in MRANTI Park. Yeah, so you mentioned 12 kilometers of road. Yes, this is also recognized as the fourth, what they call a route, AV route for Malaysia. Something that we are, of course, we're proud of, because MRANTI itself is only 2 years old. Yeah?
Yep.
But yet, I think we've done a lot, and we are building that sandbox or that test bed or that living lab, for technology to help innovators accelerate their commercialization journey. And we certainly want to welcome a lot more of the innovators, great companies again. I'm going to mention great. It's because I want to make sure that KOMMU not only gets the attention, but they also gets the investment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also support from the regulators as well.
Yep.
And not only that, insurance company too, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot. Your work is cut out for you, right?
Correct.
You can't buy the product if no insurance company is going to support it. You can't fix the product into the cars if the regulators doesn't recognize.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So, you can't even build in the first place if you don't have the facility or the funds.
Correct.
So, you have a lot of, challenges ahead. And this is where we try and come in, MRANTI as an agency. We're trying to facilitate those roles, those challenges.
Yeah. I think I'll just add on a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So in KOMMU, right? Because after going through MRANTI, yes, we got the grant from MRANTI for our first round of funding. So I'll just give a little bit of background. So back then we have a KPI where we have to produce 50 sets of KOMMU, and then we just let it out to not run on the road yet. It's like beta testing to just experience to collect data for us, right? So during that period of time, we get a lot of data. We literally also went out to retailers, show them, look, guys, we have this device. You can go out and sell it. This is going to improve your customer safety. And what do they ask? Do you have certification? Do you have insurance? Have you tested it? Is it safe? We know it's safe. We know because we did the code. We put in all the safety policy, the firmware, inside the firmware and all. But then, does the public perceive it as safe, right? So we have to really go through this test bed and then test it out and then show to the public. We do test drive over here and then show the public that, guys, look, we have done all this testing. We have done all this safety, like crashes, like, dummy going in front of the cars, see if it actually stops. And things like this, we can't just go out on the road and just do it anywhere, right? So MRANTI is what you guys do here is phenomenal. You guys give a test bed over here, then we should really utilize it more often, right? Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Safuan tapped a bit on our role in MRANTI. But I do want to talk a bit on maybe like you kind of touched on a bit of a challenge that you're having, which is the public's perception and of course people's concerns. So I think maybe I can touch a bit on basically regulatory intervention. So like how can we, either MRANTI or, you can speak to the audience, like how can we be more supportive of the AV industry? Because I think when dealing with either like even transportation and things like that, safety of people, we are humans. These are lives, so like how can we be of help in any way, shape or form? If you can explain a bit more on how you think we can help with your struggles.
That's a very interesting question, and I think that initiative is very important because, like you mentioned, it touches on human safety, right?
Yeah.
Again, in KOMMU, we really prioritize the safety as well. Everything we do, the first thing is it safe? Okay? So this is something that the public doesn't just perceive, even though if we say it ourselves, right? So I think what MRANTI could do, I mean, it would be a great help if you guys come in and then help us with, you know, oh, by the way, you guys have done it once, giving us the chance to just put on, go to an exhibition. You know, you guys sponsored an exhibition booth in MRANTI back then, right?
Yep.
It was perfect. So people actually come to our booth and then they were like, oh, what is this? This is interesting. Can I sleep while using this? And you see, these are the wrong perception that the public has. Yes, correct. So self-driving is there for assistance right now. You don't see any, you can see, you know, in the UK, in China, they have self-driving cars, but there are still people inside because it's not safe. You can't guarantee it's very safe yet. So this kind of education must be, you know, pushed not just through the industry itself, but also through the government, right? So this is one, I'll just summarize again. You guys did well. You guys gave us the exhibition chance for us to, you know, show the public that we are doing this. There is a misconception on self-driving. Its assistance system is for the safety. And then also there's another part, you know, I would also think that because this is backed by data, right? So users come to us, they usually touch 3 times. One is that they ask, oh, what is this? Can I get this? And blah, 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 blah. And then later on, you go through the funnel and then you come for a test drive. Right? So this test drive, right, is the moment where they actually sit down on the vehicle and actually experience the entire thing. Because when people talk about self-driving, they don't understand what is level 1, level 2, level 3 self-driving, right? So they sit on the car, they know that, oh, so lane keep assist actually make your car stays in the lane and then just swerve off, and then adaptive cruise control just maintain your car towards, you know, if there's a lead car in front, it just brakes or, you know, maintain the distance there. So that's all level 2, you know. So these are the things that through test drives, I think MRANTI could do, allow us a space for us to, you know, gather people, create an event for us, for them to come in and then sit down in the car. Just we as the operator, the safety operator inside the car, and then let them experience it. Because you know, like self-driving is not something that, you know, poof, the next day every car self-drives, right? It's not. Human have this psychological barrier where they think that, oh, is this thing is driven by machine. I'm not gonna trust it. It's not like your grandma, you know, like, oh, there's a self-driving car in the road today, and then I'm just gonna sit in the self-driving car. You know, you get what I mean? Yeah.
I think so like level 2, like the features that you mentioned, I think I'm seeing a lot of that in like the newer cars. Like for example, you mentioned Perodua Ativa and things like that. So they are having the same kind of features in their cars.
Correct.
So how do you kind of differentiate yourself from that?
Okay, that is a very, very common question. So I don't know. I'm just gonna ask randomly. Do you own a Ativa by any chance?
No. No.
Okay, any car that has that feature? Do you?
I don't personally own it. Of
Oh, you
course
do?
boss owns.
Be very, very honest. Do you use it?
I do.
Oh, you do?
I do.
You do?
Yeah,
Oh,
because it's although it's annoying,
yeah. I want to hear the annoying part.
although it's annoying, but it's just that I normally leave the what's it called, the
lane
sensor, lane change and whatnot, because
Why? Be honest. Why?
Censorship.
Tak boleh.
no, but sometimes it's just that, okay, so I'm blessed because I you know, I have the opportunity of sometimes I been piloted around, but there is of course this the buzz comes in and you I mean, it's not necessarily typing, but you are always alert in terms of when the messages comes in.
Correct.
Yeah, so there is always the tendency to like you have
just
a
want to
look.
look.
Yeah.
But again, everyone knows that accident can happen in a split second.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So having that, although it's annoying, it will like right? It will notify me in terms of just in case I'm too close to the line, or it will do an automatic braking, and it does help. And so I just leave it on. And I do feel that this is the kind of safety where if it's affordable, yeah, it should be,
Should be
any citizen, public citizen, or any Malaysian public citizen in Malaysia should be able to access themselves
That's
to
true,
such solution. Because I mean, the idea of, I mean, again, this whole changes that we are seeing because of technology, right? Now there's insurtech, yeah. Insurance is not there, to me, I believe it's not there waiting for an accident to happen. Is to, if it happens, what is the recourse? How do I, try and come back to a normal, some sense of normalcy, because I've gone through an accident. The insurance actually helped me, if it's against a person or whatnot, there is some sort of like, I don't have to fork out everything.
Correct.
Right? So I think the point here is that it tries to avoid that to happen, but you as a driver needs to also
be attentive,
be alert, and again, you're still human.
Yeah.
There are times
True.
when if you're not somewhat preoccupied with the phone, you're just sometimes tired.
Yeah.
Correct.
Sometimes it's not just you, it's the weather. There's so many things that, to us, majority of us who have been driving for more than a year, it becomes like so automatic already. Right?
yes.
Yeah.
You go into your car, you start your engine, and before you know it, I'm home.
Yeah.
I think majority of us will be like, do you recall what happened? Whether or not
So
you...
subconscious, like
Yeah, it's subconsciously
that's true.
you know how to drive. You know what to expect. But again, accident does happen. And Malaysia has one of the highest rate of accident as well. Especially during Raya, right? So we're talking about the Ministry of Transportation trying to say that how do we reduce this? Having more policemen on the roads also doesn't help, because you see over Raya, this is where they deploy a lot of forces, police force. I mean, they do their speed checks and whatnot, but still accident happen.
correct.
It's not just on the highway, it's on the smaller roads and whatnot. So again, what are those factors? And this is where I think that with technology, the one that KOMMU is developing, with the race of better technology as well, cheaper, more accessible, in terms of LiDAR, right? Light and detection ranging. Yeah. Sensor overall.
Redundancy.
Redundancy. With a bit more, predictive with analytics. You understand the behavior of the car. You understand the behavior, the weather pattern and whatnot. You can actually make this
More.
And hopefully one day it becomes a thing of a past where we have this high rate of accident, right?
Yeah.
Again, as long as you have a person behind the wheel, you may have this human error.
Correct.
Yeah.
So how do we reduce human error? Through the better use of technology.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to hear from KOMMU.
Actually, I will get back to your question a while.
Yeah,
I want to add on something because Safuan gave me a lot of idea.
Oh,
Do you know?
Bring it on.
Do you know that every 60 seconds, 1 minute, there's a car crash? Sorry. Every minute there is 2 car crash. Every hour there's someone dead in Malaysia. Through car accident.
So I think you got to speak to the audience there.
Okay.
Every
Every 60 seconds, there are 2 car crashes in Malaysia. Every 1 hour, there's 1 person dead in Malaysia because of accident. Road accidents.
Wow.
Yes, that is how severe it is. It is the top 10 killer of, generally everywhere, right? So, be a responsible road user.
That's the conclusion.
That's a conclusion. But we can't blame anyone. Even though right now, okay, let's just say later when you go back home, right? Just, if you're stuck in a jam, just look around.
Yeah.
Everyone's on their phone. You can't control them. Why? Right? Jam, right? It's just there. It's just there. You can't stop them. So we need this technology to make sure there's the redundancy there. Right? So I'll just go back to your question. What differentiates our product with the existing system over there? So we come from we have talked to many users, right? That's our job, right? As a founder. So people say that in Malaysia, the best car that has all the system would be Proton X50 because that technology comes from Volvo itself, right? So their lane keep assist and adaptive cruise control is phenomenal. It's one of the best. But there are still people coming to us for the solution. X50 owners, right? So, like people who actually owns this this lane keep assist and adaptive cruise control, when they turn it on, they will notice that there are some sort of, inconvenience where, I'm not here to diss any automakers here, right? Okay.
No, that's
so like
okay.
Perodor, like for example, Perodor says
yeah,
that they have lane
say the
keep
name.
control,
Yeah,
keep
they
control,
do.
right?
Yes, yeah.
Try it.
Oh, okay.
They go out of the lane, only they pull you back, and then when they
Yeah.
pull you back, they bounce your car left and right.
Yeah, yeah.
So people rather just turn it off. They
Yeah.
think they think that okay, this thing is not going to help me. It's annoying.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
rather
yeah.
turn it off. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we do here is that our system is actively keeping you on the lane. We are very confident with the lane keep assist. We actually have driven a car, yes, with a safety driver here, from KL all the way to Penang. Even though we go through the Ipoh, the hilly place, almost hand-free. 99% hand-free. There are certain times where I have to disengage because the system is not perfect, right? There are motorcycles cutting in. I just have to intervene.
Yeah.
But this kind of assistant is there. We actually have a user who just came back 2 days ago. He came to us to get his second device installed because what his wife said is that because he travels alternately from KL to Kuantan because he's a surgeon. Yeah, you know who you are.
Yeah.
If you watch this video. So, the wife says that he rather has this system there for his husband to use while driving at night because there is always a redundancy there to keep him awake. We actually have our first Activa user actually forced us to support his car because of why? Because he got into a accident before he installed our system. Because he do sales, he drive a lot from KL to Penang to Terengganu and all.
Yeah.
He does GPS installation and all.
Okay.
He was so sleepy at night one day. He micro sleep. He just and then his car hit the divider, right? And then he said that if only your system was there, I would have be warned. Oh, by the way, our system actually has a driver monitoring, a camera looking at your face to make sure that if you are awake and paying attention while driving.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's the the thing that I hope that answers the
Does
question.
it slap you if you fall asleep?
I hope next time
Like
probably
buzz your seat. Yeah, I think story time. Okay, so last year I got into 2 accidents within the time span of 4 months. Okay, so
This is a statistic lah.
yeah.
okay.
So statistic guys,
Just last year.
But okay, the second accident was solely based because of weather. So it was raining and it was slippery. So I wasn't driving that one, but I was in the vehicle with a friend. I think you would know this accident because it was with
that accident.
yeah, and
I
suddenly
was not the friend, so I wasn't driving. And he wasn't responsible.
If he was the one driving, then explainable. But no, okay. So so we kind of we were turning the corner. When you get down certain highways, you have the round thing that you turn, right? So then the tire skidded. I saw the driver trying to turn the other way, but the tire skidded the other way. So we hit the divider and the car swerved, and there were 3 girls in the car. It was scary. It really was scary. And at that time, we both have the same car, so it's basically the Saga, and it's the basic one without any safety features in it.
No ABS.
Yeah, nothing. Literally nothing. So I think 2 months back I drove my sister's Activa. And there's the lane assist, and there's also when a vehicle is near, there's it beeps.
It blinks.
Yeah, it
Blind spot
blinks.
monitoring.
Yeah. So I was you know what? If only my car had this, at least it would have helped me. But then again, it's annoying because once you go out the lane, it's beep, 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 yeah. So it's that distracts me, honestly. Yeah. So let's hope KOMMU doesn't do that. Let's hope KOMMU
You can
doesn't
try.
Yeah, so I think of course for some of us to get those safety kind of features installed into a car that doesn't have it, it may be costly. So I think maybe that's something that we can explore with KOMMU. We can explore that option.
But I think it's just technology, any technology the first version of something is always going to be expensive.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
But when you have the adoption and you have economies of scale, and also if, let's say, an insurance company were to adopt this, and we were to incentivize the road user, I'm quite sure, although it's annoying, you probably don't mind the as opposed to crashing into the barrier, right?
Right.
PTSD.
Your life.
Yeah. So because the is something that you can okay. Still, you're still in one piece. Yeah. If you don't have that, you're already in a barrier. So alhamdulillah, all three of you were okay.
Yeah.
But it could have been a lot more worse because sometimes it's not you, it's the other car that is following behind you.
Exactly.
Right? And then you mentioned about microsleep as well.
Correct.
And
Have you experienced it before?
no, but the driver who actually hit my car actually admitted that he had a microslip.
Oh.
So my wife knows my driving. I drive like a grandpa.
That's good.
Sometimes.
Hey, no wait, that's
Okay. Sometimes.
Subjective.
Yeah. Sometimes because my son say I still drive too fast. But then I normally keep the distance. I know my 2-second rule or 3-second rule depending on weather.
oh, not bad.
But in Malacca, for example, we were at a traffic light and lo and behold, suddenly a car just came in, hit the right side and we were, and the traffic wasn't moving. So it was a very good, very nice gentleman who came. I mean, if you're listening, you know who you are. So he said that, my apologies. I had a microslip. So he actually went to the police station and actually did a police report and put in there that he had a episode of microsleep. So this is normal. It's just it is at 2:00 in the afternoon. Sometimes it happens during nighttime, like your example. It could be late morning, early morning, right? Anytime, yeah. It's just because it can happen to any of us, and I think having that assistance would help. And of course, over time, affordability, acceptance, adoption will make this something that it will be within the reach of majority of road users. I mean, we've seen the conversion of ICE to electric vehicle,
My
right?
car.
Yeah. I met up with another innovator who actually devised what they call that, a conversion, EV conversion pack for, but this is more for a scooter.
Ah, it's a scooter, okay.
So they take a 1970s, 1980s scooter, and then within 2 hours, it's just a matter of transplanting the ICE to an EV. So why can't we do the same as well for a car to have assisted driving, even level 2, level 3. I think you're going up to level 4, right?
Correct.
You will one day.
One day. It's a singularity. We will go there eventually, right?
Yeah. I mean, some cars are now more like a computer rather than a car.
That was how we started, actually.
Yeah, the kind of features is that you probably will not finish exploring. So many features inside the car, and then sometimes most of road users or car users, sometimes they don't even use it.
I think, so we touched a bit on basically the industry and what you guys do. We touched a bit on challenges, a lot on challenges actually, even the story. Thank you for sharing your story. So even the story sharing was a bit on the challenges. And in essence, it's exactly what you guys are trying to solve here.
Correct.
But all of that maybe, probably, possibly wouldn't be possible if you didn't have a testing ground, correct? Just say yes lah.
Yes. Have to think through also.
I mean, you guys went through rounds and rounds of testing. I mean, you said your priority was safety, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I think perhaps you can touch a bit on that. I think you will be part of our EV Living Lab, correct? Like you will be part of that ecosystem here. So, we hope to see that level 4 tested here at MRANTI Parks Living Lab. But perhaps you can...
You have a, the driver next to it, you can...
Yeah, I'll be here. Anytime you need to test, I'll be here.
Ping Kwan was once with us before.
Oh,
if you need somebody to walk in front of the car, then you get
the obstacle. Yeah, but maybe perhaps you can touch a bit on how you see Testbeds as a place of testing, how it can evolve in the future, or how it can help develop new technologies, or basically MRANTI always asks the question, what's next for your innovation, for your ideas, for your technology. So maybe perhaps for KOMMU, what's next in the sense of the AV Living Lab that we're going to have here. So how do you think that can play a role into helping you develop new technology?
Okay, that's a very good question.
Ooh, got
made
you.
me think. It made me think. It really made me think. So first of all, I know it's like you mentioned one just now that we are still in the infancy stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are still a lot of things to do. The test bed is there, but there's still progress that we have to be made to improve or upgrade the test site, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I can't speak for just myself for KOMMU, right? Because we have to acknowledge that in Malaysia there are two other autonomous driving. Correct me if I'm wrong. There are two other autonomous driving. I wouldn't say their name because I love them. Yeah, Reka and then also eMovate. They were our senior,
Okay.
right? We learned a lot from them. So the way we do things is a bit different. We solve the passenger problem. They solve mostly a little bit of passenger problem and also the closed space, the bus kind of autonomous driving, right? So I have to be honest, we both solve a little bit different problem, but we still do need the test drive, the test bed.
Okay.
Okay, so they have their own idea of how they should upgrade the test bed, but for us, I think what we usually do is that we usually have one single problem that we want to solve first. Let's just say we want to make sure that the car keeps the lane 100% of the time. That's what we want to test.
Okay.
Right. So we just need a simple, a simple space for us to do that. I think MRANTI, you guys have 12 kilometers of road for us to test. This is enough. I mean, for now it is enough. Okay, for now it is enough. But then by the time we slowly upgrade, to include more features, like our plan is to, get to level 4, there's navigation feature. There are a lot of things that we will be testing, but our way of testing is that we always want to make sure that our technology adopts to what is already there. You mean to say the infrastructure that is already there. So we don't see that there's a lot of need to upgrade the infrastructure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just very honest from our side. Yeah, I think, does that answer your question, or is there?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think where we're going is that each solution provider, such as yourself, have different needs.
Correct.
Like you said, Reka have their own needs, you have your own needs. So probably for you guys right now, it's not so much on the upgrade of infra, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
But I will add a little bit, because we have had this power meeting, right? What is it called? Power meeting.
Power breakfast.
Power breakfast. Yes. Everyone was there. It was awesome. And then you can see that there were a lot of different ideas being thrown out there. Right? I think this kind of initiative is very important, and it's a very good initiative because everyone goes there, and then we all have our current problem that we want to solve, and then probably other industry players, they have their own ideas they can throw out. So I think this is the time where MRANTI, as a government agency, could try to listen to us, try to listen to our needs, what are the infrastructure upgrades that we need, and then just roll it out. But of course, I've already seen, because I follow Peter, another great guy in MRANTI. So Peter has been trying to work with Nottingham and also I think an engineer from Singapore, Citran.
Citran.
Right. So it's not set in stone yet. I believe everything is it's an initiative. I understand that it takes a long time to achieve what you guys are doing, right?
Yep.
So that initiative itself, I think it's a good initiative because you guys are seeing Citran is trying to create a guideline for how to test AV, right? So if you guys can adopt it here, I think it's a good start as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So you brought in Singapore, right?
Yeah.
And maybe how they're coming up with something, and it's something that like how can we adopt it here? So maybe Safuan, do you want to touch a bit on basically how we can go global on a global scale when it comes to like living labs or test beds? How can we make our local talents like reach the global market?
So, well, it's not an easy. There's no easy answer to it, right?
Yeah.
I can say that, for example, we are starting with building the ecosystem. We need to understand, or we need to understand the ecosystem we are trying to build. See, KOMMU and their solution is part of a, if I'm not mistaken, McKinsey quoted the automotive software part. By 2030 is 461 billion.
Wow, you did your homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the CIDO, okay?
Of course. Oof.
So, and this is a very lucrative market.
Yeah.
And this is something that we can build upon. Malaysia, we have the talent, and we have companies. Yeah, we have the infra and the test side.
We need more.
Yes, of course, we need more, and which is why I mean, in terms of, first of all, it's about here. It's changing our mindset. MRANTI Park is a global science park. I repeat again, MRANTI Park is a global science park, technology park. Yeah, which means that we are opening our doors for all technology companies, local, regional, as well as global, to use all the facilities that we are building. And we'll probably build new facilities based on the newer, based on the needs. Yeah, right now we build on, for example, based on what you have mentioned, the needs for you to test the car so that it maintains within the lane. Yeah,
Correct.
But there may be different needs, and I think this is where I want to to use the example of our how we built the ecosystem using the drone for drones. We started first by understanding what is a drone, the payload, and also in terms of the platform. Yeah. So, for example, there is a drone there. Yeah. So that's considered as a platform. That's a drone, right? But the moment you attach a camera to it, that's the payload. Yeah. So we need to understand first what ecosystem, what is the technology that we are focusing at, what is the benefit, and then we need to figure out what are the other supporting ecosystem, the other supporting things that we need to build.
Yep.
So it's just not the drones. Yeah. So we started off in about 2017, 2018, about 8 companies that we pulled to a round table. If you ask me now, we're about close to 300 plus companies in the ecosystem. Yeah. We started off with a very simple ecosystem radar or map for drones.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad, if I were to compare during the early days, because that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's it. And then but the thing is to start it. Yeah. Once you get the 8 companies, you start asking around which universities are focusing on drones.
Yeah.
And it's not just the drones, because if it seems like cars as well.
Correct.
And if you break the technology, the components part of it, suddenly it's, you have sensors,
It's
you
just
have
that.
propellers. Yeah. So I mean, there's so many. Suddenly, the first question when we ask is, no, we're not focusing on drones. But if you break down the platform and the payload, then suddenly say, yep, I'm doing sensors. Yep, I'm doing aerodynamics. Yep, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing batteries. So you have all the components. So for us, we need to, before we talk about making global, we have to understand every nitty-gritty, bits, screws, and whatnot that goes into that technology.
Okay.
Then we break it up. So sorry, bump to the mic. Yeah, a wake-up call to the whole audience. But then you sort of like you have. I like this Minority Report kind of like, for those of you, I'm like a movie buff lah. When you take a technology and if you for Tom Cruise, it was that video where he sort of like opened up and then he was able to like, okay, so imagine if you take an a car or a drone, you blow up into all the respective pieces of technology that goes inside, And suddenly you need to say, okay, we have that, we have this, we have the universities that are doing this, we have the startup companies that are doing this, we have large companies, for example, like DRB and whatnot, who are manufacturing cars, right? So you see, like, oh, we have already some parts of the ecosystem.
Yeah, correct.
But it's not everything yet. Yeah, especially when it comes to AV.
Yeah.
So we need to find out what's missing. So first thing people will say, you know, you need regulation. Yeah, regulation is one, but you need the skilled people. You need the automotive engineers.
Academics.
Yeah, correct. I mean, even for example, and if you what do you drive cars on nowadays? There are a lot of other things, right?
Yeah.
Is the road condition? I mean, and suddenly you
yeah.
realize that you need to build a pool of talent, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, the technology, the talent, the infra, the living lab, aka the test site.
Yep.
Once you and then you work with your universities, yeah, work with the researchers. What we're doing, for example, right now, our technology commercialization team is going to each university to understand what are their best and greatest product.
Oh, wow.
And also in terms of what are their very reputable, proven researchers. So because we never know.
Yeah.
Suddenly, KOMMU, I want that. I want that too. I want that. So we're building a platform nowadays so that to help companies, the demand side to come in once it's ready and say, okay, I'm building this, right? I mean, natural language, ask question in terms of, I want to work with companies in this. And right now we're doing it, as a team.
Yep.
So we sort of like figure out, okay, this is where KOMMU is, and this is where KOMMU wants to go, level 4. And these are the things that they need to, I mean, it's like a startup journey as well.
Right.
So these are possible technologies that they can use, you know, sensors lah, cameras lah, you know, and say, and the technology commercialization team will then say, okay, this one could be relevant. And then we sort of push
them together.
Yeah, push them together. Because for the university, it takes the research out. They would also want their research to be commercialized, right?
Yeah.
So we work with academia, we work with private sector, startups like yourself, we work with public, which is the government, you know, with MOT, the regulation part, the insurance part, Futurize as well, and then also we have civil societies, and civil societies are your sort of like your grassroots, could be your hobbyist group, right? It could be your MyV fan club.
Yes, exactly.
Persatuan MyV.
Yeah, I mean, because looking at how MyVs are driven on the road nowadays, there must be a special class, you know, to teach them how to drive like that. Like drive like that. I mean, like no. Sorry, MyV fans, but it's like So, but again, these are civil societies or association, and we work with all 4. We call it our quadruple helix because within this quadruple helix would be quadruple helix.
Yeah.
So you have 4 lah. So basically, one could be the source of the problem. Another one could be the source of the solution. Right?
Yep.
So the problem may be faced by MyV fan club, that they want more, they want to upgrade. What's the next upgrade, right?
Yeah.
And safety is also what do you call it, a good thing to have. So then the private sector side or the startup could be like KOMMU. They say, hey, why don't you use this, right?
Yeah.
So, or the problem could be from the public sector.
Yeah.
We are facing a lot of road accidents. There's a cost to each road accident, for example. And how do we solve road accident? Again, now from public sector problem statement goes to private sector solution. So this is where we build the ecosystem understanding the quad helix partner. We build the ecosystem based on, we need to understand the technology. We need to understand as well the trend and how the technology is growing. We need also to be able to understand how big is the market, because we, again, need to prioritize our resources. Once we are able to understand, so it takes time. So which you asked me just now, in terms of there seems to be not much done. And again, it's just I gave Ting, to our fellow audience, I gave Ting an example of a construction. When you are constructing something, a building, for the first 6 to 12 months, you probably not see anything above ground. Why? Because we are busy building the foundation. We are busy strengthening the foundation. When the foundation is strong, once our understanding is strong, once we know who to work with, the ecosystem, then you can see the building starts to emerge. And before you know it, say, hey, that building 6 months ago was not there, right? And that's what hopefully 2023 and above and beyond is going to be like that. It's building on top of that, because we're close to eMovie as well, Dr. Zairi. So we love the company. We love all this technology, the innovators and the technology companies and startups, because they're doing great stuff.
Correct.
And that's why we hope that we're able to assist more in terms of accelerating that journey.
Correct.
So hopefully once we understand all those, we are able to get back to that global
Okay.
market.
Okay. So strengthening our foundation.
Yep.
And working as a collective. I think something that we always
Collaboratively.
emphasize. Yes, collaboratively. Yes, correct. So something we always emphasize at MRANTI is the quadruple helix. I saw you were trying to kind of wrap your head around it, which is exactly why you should be around us more and be a part of our ecosystem. All right, so I think we're running out of time and I would like to wrap up this session. So if you guys have anything else to say, just jump in at any time. Yeah, Safuan just never stops. Yeah, he just never stops.
No, I think it's just I do want to highlight some of the great programs that we have.
Okay.
Because I know some of our audience here would probably be drivers who are looking for great solutions like the one that is being developed by KOMMU. But I also know that some of the drivers could also be researchers.
Yep.
Some of those drivers could also be having an R&D setup or a startup company. I mean, I would want them to get in touch with MRANTI if you have a great idea and you feel that idea we can help you commercialize or adopt it. You know, our tagline is ideas to impact, right? So ideas is ideas until you are then able to prototype it and then commercialize it, then it delivers impact.
Yep.
So if let's say the issue is around capability, you know, you're not sure, you're just a new startup, you need to build your subject matter knowledge, and in terms of your, you don't have experience founding a startup, we have those capability programs. Yeah. You are part of our bootcamp.
Come find us too.
Yeah. So I mean, like the bootcamp is one of our KOMMU was one of our bootcamp participants. Look at where they are now. So beyond bootcamp, there are our webinars. There is our Global Accelerator program. There is also our National Technology Innovation Sandbox program, where you have access to funds as well as test sites. Yeah, we help solve some of those regulatory issues. You have global, what do you call that? Our global market JIX program. Yeah, that will take you to market. Yeah. And then we also have our International Innovation Hub, our Living Lab, where you can come and test your product here. And also you have issues, if let's say you have issues in terms of commercializing, then we have a dedicated technology commercialization team that will help you in terms of understanding the importance of intellectual property, trying to make with you, with academia, with other solution. So basically it's MRANTI Park is where you won't want to be. MRANTI is the agency that you want to work with, because we also connect you with other agencies. We are part of MOSTI. So, yeah, we're part of MOSTI. Proud to be part of MOSTI, yeah. Our sister agencies like Cradle, we work closely with MTDC. So, let us be that door. When you open, you have access to other agencies, because it can be quite challenging. A lot of agencies. Let us help you solve that issue in terms of identifying the right kind of agencies or the right agency that you need to work with. So, sum it up in terms of, do approach MRANTI in terms of if you are building an idea and you know that idea can give impact globally, you want to help in terms of commercializing your product and solution, or you're not sure, it's okay, come talk to Muna.
I was just about to say, go find Safuan.
More attention.
Find the Sido.
So we are here. Come over to MRANTI Park. You know, I can buy you some coffee as well. I think summing up, it's work with MRANTI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope this was a fruitful session or like a knowledgeable session. I think it was for you.
Definitely.
Yes. Well, we hope so. And we hope to see more of you soon. So for everyone out there, keep an eye out for the MRANTI space, especially on our social medias. Okay, you guys can follow us at MyMRANTI because we will be updating you more on each living lab as they come. But I think the upcoming one should be the AV Living Lab. So you can find KOMMU there. I hope so. You can find KOMMU there. And also check out our website where you guys can see how you guys fit according to your ideas or whatever solutions or research that you guys have. We have something for everyone. You just need to know where you are and what you need. So other than that, if you're still listening in, congratulations, you made it this far. So yeah, I mean, Safuan can go on and on and on. So yeah, come to MRANTI, knock on Safuan's door. All right, so without further ado, we do want to know what you guys think or what you guys want to know more of from MRANTI or who you guys want us to feature. You know, if you want more of Safuan or if you want more of Muna, then let us know on our social medias. All right,
Oh,
so
more of Ting as well.
more of
forget
Ting.
me leh.
You guys can find him at the Living Lab, no problem. All right, so until then, we will see you on the next episode of Tidbits by MRANTI.
Drive safe.
Drive safe.
Don't be Safuan. Don't text and drive.